Ladies and gentlemen, please help me give a warm welcome to our 2015 commencement speaker, Dr. Keller Kissam.
General and Mrs. Rosa, General Watts, members of the Citadel Board of Visitors, honored guests, staff, faculty, friends, family, but most importantly, you, the graduating class of 2015 of the South Carolina Corps of Cadets. It's my highest honor and most unique privilege to be here today to share in your commencement exercises. The world's waiting on you. It's waiting to gobble you up and spit you out, dash your hopes and shatter your dreams. In the opening monologue of the movie Patton, George C. Scott exclaims, "Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser." My, how things have changed. Just pick up the magazine or a newspaper and read the headlines. Americans are infatuated with failure and mesmerized with falls from grace. Our heroes have been regulated to the small print in Section C or the last 5 minutes of the nightly news under benign headlines of human interest. What? You didn't think you'd get such words of encouragement and promise on this your special day? Well, don't sweat it. 4.5 years ago, you made a decision that will equip you to not only handle it, but to flourish. Know this, your degree that you receive will mean more to you given global circumstances and events than it has meant to any alumnus who has preceded you. The core values of your education, honor, duty, respect, coupled with the progression of prepare, serve, lead, and command will serve as your compass, a rudimentary yet effective tool that will tell you always where you've been, where you are, but most importantly, where you're headed. Socrates said the best way to live with honor in this world is to be the person you pretend to be. The most important words inscripted on this campus are above Summerall Chapel. Ecclesiastes, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. Honor your blessings, for you are blessed to be here today. You've got health, you've got vitality, you've got youth. Honor those blessings. Stay in shape or get in shape. Life's too complicated to have to worry about your health. And watch what you put in your body. The headlines across the country of young people your age who have met a fatal end because of a toxic dose of alcohol or drugs. Be careful what you put in your body and understand that your career, your future, your life is not worth getting to the bottom of a 12-ounce can or a half-gallon bottle. I'd now ask all the parents of these graduating seniors to now rise and be recognized. Honor your parents. They're the reason you're here. They've got so much invested in you, and it's not just tuition, but it's unconditional love and support. Be worthy of that investment. I was here 4 years ago when you all joined the Corps of Cadets. I watched as they craned their necks trying to find you as you marched from those barracks onto Summerall Field to matriculate into the Corps of Cadets. I saw that same sense of pride going to every football game and every parade since, and I see that same pride on all their faces here today. They gave you something even more important, your last name. Honor it. Like my good buddy Dierks Bentley says, passed down from generations, too far back to trace. I see all my relations when I look into my face. May never make it famous, but I'll never bring it shame. It's my last name. It's my last name. Honor those parents and honor your family. I learned the importance of family back in 2004. We had an ice storm that came through our service territory, had 155,000 customers who didn't have power. And the most important thing in my life was getting those lights back on. I didn't go home for a week. I didn't talk to my wife, my son, my daughter, because the most important thing in my life was my job. Like always, after about a week, we got the lights back on. I remember feeling good because I had accomplished the most important thing in my life, once again, my job. I remember sleeping through the Super Bowl that Sunday, going to work on Monday, and my phone ringing incessantly. Irritated, I stepped out in the hallway to answer the call and saw that it was my wife, Ann. I said, "What do you want?" She was crying on the other end. She said, "You need to come to Rich Memorial Hospital right now." I said, "Are you okay?" She said, "It's not me, it's Elliot." Elliot at the time was my 6-year-old daughter. 2.5 hours later, I sat in front of a pediatric oncologist that told me that 70% of the cells in her bloodstream were cancerous. She was diagnosed with leukemia. And I can promise you at that particular moment, I didn't care if anybody in the state of South Carolina had power or would ever have it again. It's never been my highest priority, but I can tell you this, after that one day, I have never had a bad day in the office. Honor your parents, honor your family. That's what gives your life meaning. And finally, honor this institution. Today, after you walk across this stage, you'll be joining a tradition that has been in place since 1842. And our institution's reputation is not defined by its charter of incorporation, but by the actions and contributions of its alumni. When I'm in a meeting and people look over and see my ring and say, "Oh, you went to the Citadel," it makes me proud. But what makes me even prouder is when they never see my ring and say, "Where'd you go to school?" And I say, "The Citadel," and they say, "Oh, I should have known. I should have known." Honor this institution. The second most important words that are inscripted across this campus are in every sally port of the barracks. And that is that duty is the sublimest word in the English language. For the last 4 years, you've lived underneath a regimented lifestyle. I will tell you, keep that regimen in your life. It will serve as a foundation and a stabilizer in a very chaotic world. Someone asked me, "Would you go back to the Citadel and do knob year over again?" And I said, well, let me think a minute. I wouldn't have to make any decision about where I needed to be. I wouldn't have to make any decision about what I needed to wear. And I wouldn't have to make any decision about even what I was going to eat. Man, what a refreshing change. Sign me up. I'll see you in August. Keep that regimen in your life. In addition to that, follow the rules. 100% compliance. That's why I'm proud of Captain Peluso with the support of General Rosa, who are enforcing the rules of the fourth-class system. Not making any changes, but enforcing the rules. Why? Because I can tell you why. Because when the Environmental Protection Agency, when the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, the Department of Justice, when they come in and do audits of my company, they don't come in to audit the rules I feel like following. It's 100% of the rules, and as a leader, you have a duty to be compliant 100%. In addition to that, you have a duty to understand you're going to make mistakes. We all do. But you need to be accountable at those times. Don't whine, don't complain, don't make excuses, and my favorite, don't call somebody to bail you out. When you make a mistake, don't get bitter, get better, forget about it, and move on. Duty is indeed the sublimest word in the English language, but it is followed closely by discipline, accountability, and persistence. And then finally, you got to earn respect as a leader. You have to earn respect. Two types of leaders, those that have position power and those that have people power. Your senior class president alluded to that moments ago. Those people that just have position power, they take off the rank, they throw their business card away, they don't have much respect because it only comes with the title that they have somehow earned. But you've got to earn it through people power. Be a servant leader, responsible for your people and indirectly responsible for the welfare of their families. People come to me and they ask me, what do you look for in a leader to promote in your company? I said, that is so easy. Two things. Number one, how do they treat people who can't do a dang thing for them? And the second thing is their judgment, good judgment. I would rather have somebody working for me with average intelligence that uses good judgment 100% of the time than to have someone who is brilliant and uses good judgment 50% of the time. As a leader, you earn respect by being a good communicator, open and honest communication. Technology is overrated. Communication is hand-to-hand, face-to-face, eyeball-to-eyeball. I know if we threw everything in a bucket, we probably have more electronic devices in here than we do people, but it's overrated. I'm a firm believer. I've never been on Facebook, and I'm a firm believer that if you go out and tell 200 of your friends that you're going to the beach for a week and then you post selfies confirming that you're there, you deserve to have your house broken into and all your things stolen. Use discretion. But people don't communicate because it takes time and everybody's busy. It takes effort and we got a lazy streak. And we all run the risk of confrontation when we communicate. But stand up to the plate and be a good leader and communicate openly and honestly. And then finally, as a leader, to earn respect, make a decision. Efficiently gather your facts, but people are looking at you to be decisive. Across corporate America today, nobody can make a decision without a team or a committee. I call it the meet and eat crowd because that seems like all they do. Gather your facts and make a decision, and when you make that decision, enforce it firmly, fairly, and consistently. And remember this, respect is like a boomerang. The harder you throw it at somebody else, the quicker it'll come back to you. So today you leave the freshly cut grass of Summerall Field, that distinctive smell of the pluff mud of the Ashley River, and the familiar laughter of your classmates. Never again will you have to get a shirt tuck in a stairwell or try not to bounce when you march. But you will never forget that appearance and bearing matter. Never again will you bark out, sir, yes, sir, ma'am, yes, ma'am, while bracing on the galleries. But you will never forget that good manners and respect never hurt anyone. Never again will you walk in the gutter of the avenue of remembrance, but you will never forget that humility is a virtue. Never again will you instruct the knob on how to make a bed, how to shine shoes, how to shine brass, but you will never forget that if you thoroughly know something, there is great pride in teaching it to others. Never again will you cram for an exam or clean your room for inspection, but you'll never forget to be prepared in mind and resources. Never again will you spend Friday afternoon at parade or Saturday morning at inspection, but you'll never forget how to do within while doing without, and that sacrifice breeds confidence. Never again will you play another intramural game in Days Hall or Summerall Field, but you'll never forget that teamwork is a critical element of achievement and fun. Never again will you march behind a guidon flapping in the breeze as your company passes in review. But you will never forget that cohesion and coordination create an esprit de corps in any unit. Never again will you hear reveille or taps emanating from the guard room of Paget Thomas Barracks, but you will never forget the value of taking the road less traveled. And never again will you sign in after leave, confirm all in, or credit sources for a paper. but you will never forget the third most important words inscripted on this campus. You will never lie, cheat, steal, nor tolerate those who do. People ask, what's the best thing ever happened to you? A lot of people will say, well, it's the parents whom I was born to. Some will say it's the job or the career that I get to fulfill each day. Some people will say it's the spouse that I was fortunate enough to marry. Others will say, surely it's the kids that we were blessed to have. I tell you without a doubt, the greatest thing that ever happened to me was the opportunity to matriculate and receive an education here at the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina, because it made all those other things that are important in my life have a deeper purpose and a greater meaning. And that's my sincere wish for you. Remember this, you are my heroes. God bless you, and congratulations.